guys, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of Music Row Hideout, the show where we hang out with artists, musicians, and entertainers in Waylon Jennings' old basement studio. My name is Jury, and as always, I am gathered here today with co-host Ryan Poole, who I'll pass it to introduce the guest.
Tonight, on a very special episode of Music Row Hideout, we have singer and songwriter Jackie Therrien, all the way from Belmont University, one block away. Did I say your last name right, by the way?
Therrien.
Therrien.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's French.
The plot thickens.
Yeah.
French. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, two shockers right off the bat. Therrien. Therrien.
Yeah.
Therrien's kind of cool, too.
Get
You
your
should think
shit
about
together,
that.
Ryan.
Therrien.
Yes.
Therrien. Jackie Therrien.
Yes.
Awesome. And if you're looking to phonetically spell that to look Jackie up, just think Therrien. It's spelled like that.
Pretty much.
So Jackie's originally from New Hampshire
Yes.
and is presently a student at Belmont University and pursuing singing and songwriting here in Tennessee. Jackie, how are you?
Pretty good. I'm good.
Awesome.
That was like the most formal intro you've ever done.
Yeah, I'm stepping up my
up your
game.
game.
You had such a bad intro that I felt like empowered. I felt stronger. So,
But,
yeah.
but I was going to say, so you're a freshman at Belmont right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So did you just move to Nashville then as well?
Yeah. Like 2 months ago. Two
Oh,
or 3 months ago. Yeah.
From New Hampshire?
Yeah.
So you grew up there, been there your whole life?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know almost anything about New Hampshire, except I have heard that it is one, almost exactly like Vermont, and
Yes.
two, completely the opposite of Vermont, and I don't know
Yes.
it's true.
They are basically the same, except for the fact that there's like nothing in Vermont.
New
Just
Hampshire's
a
got
lot
all
of
the cool
farms.
shit?
Yeah.
I mean, because New Hampshire's not very big, right?
No.
It's like 8 people,
It. Yeah.
give or take. But like, I don't know. So I
know
immediately
that the state motto is "Don't tread on me," right?
No.
No? What?
That's the libertarian motto.
What's the New Hampshire one?
Live free or die.
Live
Yeah.
free or die.
Which is
right.
the best motto
Yeah.
of any state.
Which also sounds like a Die Hard.
Live Free or Die Hard was one of the movies.
Is it? There
Yeah.
we go.
But so I've been really interested in states lately. So sorry to immediately take us on the states category, but
Is
because
this a third grade class right now?
I don't know if you've noticed, but I brought up states every episode for like 4 weeks. Because my wife and I have been like looking into states, thinking like maybe we'll move somewhere else one day, and looking at different states. And New Hampshire was one we looked up a little bit recently. I think it dropped off our list. I don't remember why, but like, why would I want to move to New Hampshire?
Because we have 4 seasons. You can go to the mountains. You can go to the beach, like in the same day.
It's on the coast.
Yeah. I'm like an hour
even-
from the beach, but I'm an hour from the mountains, and I have a lake like 2 seconds from my house. So you get a little bit of everything.
4 seasons, but 4 seasons, like a lot of states got 4 seasons, right?
2 seconds from a lake sounds dangerous. Like even a medium-sized wave would wash your house away if it's 2 seconds.
Medium-sized wave. We grew up in the ocean. We don't know how lakes work.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of waves do you have on that ocean?
Not big ones.
Yeah. What's the lake called?
Well, I mean, I guess it's more of a pond. It's
Okay.
it's considered a lake, but it's extremely small and it's very gross and very shallow. And it's called Natticook Lake. Basically, there's just summer camps on it. I went to summer camp there.
Oh,
and-
you like went to summer camp right by your own house?
Yeah.
Like
basically
really
like
got
a
away for the
daycare.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a daycare at that point.
Yeah, and like you go home at night. Like you're like, I'm not sleeping
Yeah.
outside.
Well, so it used to be an
Oh, like a
overnight
day
camp, but then it wasn't. So,
Is that even camping at that point?
It's just hanging out at the lake,
yeah.
like your lake. Yeah.
That's cool. No, I don't, lakes creep me out, to be honest. I
don't like the
trust
bottoms
them.
of them.
They're like mud. Like I
Yeah.
want sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Ocean sand. It's clean,
Yeah.
right? Sand filters.
Yeah.
Mud does not.
No,
I
it's
think. I
very
don't know. I made
gross.
that up. That might not be true.
Now, people really like activated charcoal now.
Okay. Where are you going?
Could there be a lake with like a floor made of activated charcoal? Because I think that would be a step up from sand.
You get right on that, bud. I don't know. I don't think it's a thing that just happens, though.
Okay, activated charcoal has to come from somewhere, right? I'm guessing the earth.
What is activated
Are
charcoal?
you going to tell me that an area that had activated charcoal never flooded?
Do we activate the charcoal? Is it like not
That's a good
inactive
question.
charcoal until we activate it?
I actually don't know, and I think that's a really important question that we need to get to the bottom to. On this, a very special episode of Music Room Hideout.
But anyways, how did you get into music?
Okay, well, my family's not musical at all, but they're like big music appreciators. Like they're very into like learning about music and, all different music genres and from different decades. And so like I've just been into it like my whole life, just like appreciating it. And then I played soccer until I was like 9 because my parents are athletes and my sister's an athlete. And so that's just what I did. And then one day I was like, I want to play the piano. And my mom thought it was a phase because, little kids say that they want to be an astronaut. And then they, it's...
Your parents are just like, it's a phase, darling. Don't worry. It's a phase.
I was like, no, I really want to play the piano. And we had this little tiny, like, kids keyboard where I could play, like, hot cross buns and, like, that kind of stuff. So I was, like, teaching myself... Yeah, the classics. So I was teaching myself that kind of stuff. And after a year, they're like, okay, like, it's clearly not a phase. I guess we have to sign you up for lessons now. So... that was like my first instrument. And I mean, I guess I had been singing kind of my whole life, just like, in the car and whatever. So I started out like really getting into piano. And then I joined the chorus at school, like in 3rd or 4th grade. And I did that all the way through until I graduated. And I ended up picking up guitar, which I'm self-taught, which is why I'm okay at it, but it's a lot of YouTube videos that I used. And I was also in the school band, so I did that. And it was just, I guess it just kind of took off, but...
What'd you play in the school band?
Clarinet.
The coolest of instruments.
Yes.
I don't know much about the clarinet. I mean, Travis used to play the clarinet, my cousin. Oh. He played in school band as well. And I remember when he brought home a clarinet, and I was just like, you picked the wrong instrument, my guy. Like, because I don't know any famous clarinetters. What are they called if you play clarinet?
Clarinetist?
Clarinetists?
Yeah.
All right. But like, I don't even know, like, where is clarinet even used outside of big band? Is it used anywhere?
I guess it's either a solo instrument or you're in a band. That's kind of it.
Solo
Big
instrument.
band, orchestra, jazz.
Oh, jazz. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about the entirety of jazz.
The Beach Boys' Pet Sounds album.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it? They use a lot of clarinet?
Yeah. And definitely, like the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's record, bands that were trying to be like avant-garde and bring in more orchestral things. Like there would be clarinets here and there on songs.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I can't even imagine how a clarinet sounds off the top of my head. That's how far removed I am from the clarinet.
You discouraged Travis, but little did you know he could have been a big deal.
I don't think so.
Could have really worked out for him. Squidward.
Yeah,
He plays
Squidward.
clarinet.
Squidward.
Yeah. He's well known for it.
Okay. So I got a specific question. This is like a weirdly basic music question because I don't know much about. Is it woodwind? Right?
Yeah.
Woodwinds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you look at like clarinet, you look at a saxophone, a very similar finger layout.
Yeah.
It appears. Do those skills easily translate from one to another?
So the saxophone and the clarinet are very, like, if you learn one, it's pretty easy to just go and play the other. I want to play saxophone. I've never tried, but...
Because that's way cooler.
Yeah, it is. It's the cooler version of clarinet.
Right. I remember we had a saxophone guy on Alex Ye, right?
No. Simon Ye.
Simon Ye. Who's Alex? Where did I make up the name? Simon Ye. He was dope. He was a Belmont student as well, right? I think so. Or, I mean, he had graduated, I think, at that point.
Probably. Well, I don't remember, but I know his wife, like, taught there.
First thing, as soon as he came in, the first thing I asked him, I was like, you gotta play Careless Whisper. And, do you know Careless Whisper?
Yes.
I gotta check. Okay.
Yeah.
And he did. And I was so happy because I thought he was gonna be like, no, everyone always wants that. No, he was down. It was great.
Yeah.
I love Careless Whisper.
Would you believe that this is at least the 3rd episode in the last 2 months since you've brought up Careless Whisper and Simon Ye playing
One of the best moments of my life. It was just one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
This is like one of your main talking points.
Yeah, it's a core memory.
As many years from now on your deathbed when you're like hardly able to recognize your children's faces anymore.
I'll remember
like,
Simon.
When Alexander Ye came on, and I'll be like,
Alexander Wren was what I was thinking.
It's Simon Ye. Get it right.
Makes you think I'm going to live to be that old. There's no shot. But okay, so you did a bunch of music in high school, sounds like.
Yeah.
Not before, really.
Like middle school, a little bit
middle
in
school.
elementary school, and then middle school and
Okay.
high school.
And then, okay, actually, so New Hampshire's really small.
Yeah.
Okay, how small is New Hampshire? Do you have any idea? Like, I don't know how to quantify that. How many people are there?
I have no idea.
You don't know the population of your state by heart?
It's 3 size units.
Oh, okay. But like, how long does it take to drive from one side to the other?
I guess like
It's long, right? It's like
yeah,
skinny.
it's very tall, but so I guess if you're driving, like I'm in southern New Hampshire, so I guess if I were to drive like straight up all the way to the tip, it would probably be like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
More than I thought. Okay,
1.38 million.
3.9, round it, Ryan.
389. So
1.39 million people in the whole state.
So it's like Nashville's population spread amongst the state.
I guess so.
Yeah, because San Diego's what, 1.9, I think? County? Is that a county? Or,
Oh.
I don't
No,
know.
that's city.
That's city?
Yeah, county's more like 3 million.
Oh, damn.
That's crazy.
So, like, when you... Okay, I'm just going to... I don't know anything about big band in high school. My school did not have that. In that, you go to competitions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, is, like, all of New Hampshire just, like, a couple of districts?
So we actually have like a really good high school music scene, which is really odd.
Really?
But like my high school, we had a really, really good music program. In my band, we like every year we go to these competitions and we'd get like the top scores every time. And we'd end up being like some of the best in the state and then I think in the region too. So like there were a lot of big bands. And I guess there was a town near me where their marching band would always go and march in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade every year.
Cool.
Because they had like, I think it was like 300, 400 kids in their marching band.
Oh my gosh.
Just insane.
How many were in there?
There was like 100 in mine.
That's still pretty big.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kids. Man, I can't even imagine that many people. Trying to like I saw a teacher trying to like organize. I'm sure she's a few helpers.
Yeah.
Because 100 people. But like it just seems like a lot.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. I just went to for Halloween. I went to like the whatever that thing is where they have like 4 or 5 haunted houses in one place.
Yeah.
And I went with this group because it was my wife's friend, and she was looking over this group of foreign exchange students, and there was like 26 of them, and she wanted us to help corral them. And that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I couldn't get 26 kids to stay in one spot. Are you kidding me? And they were older too. They were college. They were like 18. You know, I couldn't get it. I couldn't make it work.
They were too used to freedom.
No, not from the countries they were from. Just kidding. I'm sure some of them come from great countries, but I don't know where all of them came from. There was a bunch.
Okay, so speaking of 18, today is literally your 19th birthday.
Yes.
So
it
happy
is.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy 19th birthday. And with that, we were talking right before the show and realizing like your age range. We have deduced using the power of math that you would have been in high school when COVID-19 happened.
Yes.
We were long gone.
Just a little while
at that
ago,
point.
All right.
So we did not, but so us as old people, we would hear on the news about like kids not going to school and what that must be like, and you had to like imagine and the, like graduate, all the different interruptions. You would just hear about it, but we didn't experience that at all because we didn't go to school. And I don't have a normal job. I work in a recording studio, so it was very different for me than most people. But
I mean, I worked at a school at the
But
time.
you worked, yeah.
I worked at Belmont.
You worked
where
at
you going
Belmont.
at the time?
So for him, it just meant like you don't have to go into work anymore.
Yeah.
You can work from home. So that was like kind of nice.
COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me in that beginning period. I loved it.
You got to work from home. But what was it like? What grade were you in? What was it like? What happened? Like, what did you do?
So I was a sophomore, and it was so random because like we were kind of hearing about it on the news and like whatever, and like my biology teacher started like teaching us about it and was like, hey, like this is a big thing in the world right now, like let's learn about it. And we were all just like, yeah, okay, like whatever, it's a virus.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, you're gonna be out of school for a week. And we were like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. It's Coronacation. That's what we called it.
Oh, that's a great. I'd never heard that term. That's a great term.
Coronacation. It's
I'm referring to that from now on.
vacation. So we were so excited. Then that 1 week turned into 2 weeks. So we're even more excited. We're like, oh my God, Coronacation got extended. And we didn't have any work during this time because they were like, oh, like, just leave all your stuff at school. Like, you'll be back. It's going to be fine. And then suddenly the 2 weeks turned into a month. And the month turned into 2 months. And then it was 3 months. And they were like, okay, so we don't think you're going to be back this year.
Wow.
And we had all of our stuff at the school. So, like, we had a certain day where we all had to go in and, like, wear our masks and, like, get stuff out of our lockers and like get our band instruments and like pick up all this work. And at that point the teachers hadn't discovered Zoom, which
you had to get your band instruments?
Yeah.
Did you practice band over Zoom?
Yes.
I got to imagine the latency on that has got to be a nightmare.
Awful. My band teacher was like, we have to just try something. Like, let's all play the circle of fifths. So, like, all 100 of us are on this Zoom and we all unmute and everyone, it's like, wah! And it would just like cut out and it was complete static. It was so funny.
I was like, there's no way that'll work.
Yeah. It wouldn't even work with just 2 people.
No. I remember, have you seen the movie, what's the movie of Dwight? The Rocker?
The Rocker.
The Rocker?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
It's not that old, but actually, how old is it? God damn.
Yeah.
I'm going to be thinking about how old things are this whole time.
It's kind of old.
That came out like mid-2000s, probably. What year were you born?
2003.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, right around then.
God. I graduated high school in 2005.
2008.
Yeah, we were both born in 87.
This,
okay,
I'm
but
wearing
anyways,
a t-shirt of one of my favorite albums. It came out in 2004. Anyway.
And you've had it since then.
Yeah. We're just at this age where we're like, just stop being young. And we're like really kind of enjoying it. We're like really kind of exploring like all the things people who are older told us as we were growing up and said. We're like, ooh, could I say that? No.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
It's fun I don't have a lawn, but I live in an apartment.
Working on it.
Yeah. But in that movie is this band that gets together and they go viral is how they get famous, like a high school band plus one old guy. And you know who Dwight Schrute is, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And you know he's like the old guy in the movie, but they get famous. This video goes viral because they were all practicing over like Skype. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, "This is the most unrealistic thing I've ever seen in a movie in my life." Like it's just out of control. But I can't imagine 100.
Yeah,
that's amazing that they tried.
It was awful. And we tried it with chorus too, and that didn't work. Ugh. So it ended up just being a lot of like music theory and sitting there and like learning how to read music, even though like, you know, I play the piano. I know how to read both clefs and a lot of kids in band didn't know how to read both clefs. So that was fun. But yeah, all my other classes, it was basically just like read this in the book and do this work. And they were like super lenient and it was kind of nice because I didn't have to like go to school. I could just do my work and then I'd have the day to do whatever I wanted.
Go to the pond and play clarinet and try to summon Squidward.
Yeah, I did not play my clarinet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't want to be the kid who's playing clarinet at the pond by yourself. Like, that's not a good look. Like, it's getting a little weird.
It's definitely like a ghost. Like somebody would think you're a ghost. Yeah, like that's a super horror movie. If I saw a young girl in a sundress playing her clarinet by the side of a lake,
fog rolling in.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, I'm getting murdered.
Nobody's played clarinet here for 40 years.
Yeah. Especially in the Northeast, where Stephen King's from, and all those movies. That, like the Northeast just has creepy energy. Like everything's older. You got all these houses that are 700 years old. I made that up, but
700?
Yeah, exactly 700 to the day. To this day, it was built 700 years ago. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, so sophomore year was a bust.
Yeah.
And everybody learned what latency is. Yeah. And so, like, I assume they gave you summer, and you're like, awesome, this was the best Coronacation of our lives.
Yeah, because we also had an extended summer because we were all going through stuff so quickly because there was no, like, class time. We were just doing the work. And then I was done, like, a month early. Nice. So I had a really long summer.
Really goes to show you what a scam it is. Traditional schooling.
Yeah. But then we didn't go back right away. I'm kind of forgetting. We didn't go back the first semester. We tried to go back second semester, and then I think we ended up going back into lockdown.
Yeah.
And then that's when we started doing Zoom, and it was just awful because all the teachers were like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, we discovered Zoom. We're like, did you not? It's like FaceTime.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it was just, it's hard to focus. It's hard to learn when you're sitting in your bedroom and you're like staring at a teacher talking. And a lot of kids
definitely on your phone at the same time.
Oh yeah.
The whole time.
And kids would literally come on and then they would just like go back to sleep. So they'd be like, you could see them on the screen. They're sleeping
Not
in
very
bed.
smart kids.
They'd get called on. She'd be like, okay, hello, can you unmute yourself? And they would just, they're sleeping. So
It's like, how can you enforce anything?
no, you can't.
Like, you just do what you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's great. I definitely would have not gone ever. 100%. I would have never shown up
Well,
to
so
class.
a lot of the kids that ended up, there were a lot of kids that just didn't ever go, and then they didn't graduate. So
And they're probably like, they would not pass me. It's a worldwide pandemic. I can do whatever I want.
yeah.
To be fair, just like take the test and get a GED. You're good to go. It don't matter. Your high school diploma matters exactly 0.
Yeah.
I will say, no one
it's-
ever asked me to see it.
Never?
Never. No one ever asked.
I don't even know where it is. Like,
Right. The other day I was at my buddy's house and he was showing me this box he has of really old books. It's like 60% old Bibles passed down through his family and then some other books like the World Exploration book. And it was from the 20s, really cool, really ornate, interesting. Like, I don't know, it was like the websites of the past. These books were. Yeah. It was called The Book of Wonder. I was like, this should be in a movie. And anyway, tucked amongst these old relic books, one book his wife had from the 1800s that was called it was like Lessons on Motherhood, and it was written by a man, and it was a man totally mansplaining how to be a mother to women in the 1800s, and like it was hilarious. Tucked in there was his high school diploma.
really?
And it was like in the case, and it had like he still had like a cover over it, and like looked perfectly pristine, like it had come off the press yesterday. And I was like, I don't even know where mine is. How have you kept it? If that tells you anything about your high school diploma, and
Literally
high school
worthless,
career,
yeah.
you could put it in a book of 100-year or in a box of 100-year-old books, and you'll never need it.
Yeah, I don't know where my high school diploma is. I don't know
Yeah.
where my bachelor's degree is, and my software certification or whatever is like on the ground. Like it's like leaning against like the closet door. Like I don't know what to do with this. It's just paper. Like I don't care. None of it matters.
Yeah, I graduated.
This has been the School Doesn't Matter podcast.
I graduated and I was like, I asked my mom, I'm like, what do I do with my diploma now? She's like, well, you display it. I'm like, I don't
No,
want
you
that
don't.
displayed in my room.
Yeah, no one's
in my
that
closet.
proud of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was proud the day I got it.
I was
think
late to my graduation.
Nice.
I showed up like real late. Like I almost didn't make it on stage.
I think it's good to go to school. I think it's good to get to do it.
I think education's great.
I think it's great.
I just don't think school's a requirement for that.
Ooh. Okay, so it sounds like junior year was like, oh, we're gonna be back, but
And
we're
then
not
we
really back.
weren't. And then
The whole year?
we were like in and out of school the entire year. So like nothing was
Okay.
getting done. And like junior year was the most stressful, of course, like it was supposed to be because, looking at college and the SATs and all that stuff. And like a lot of colleges also, they were like super easy, I guess, about like, because they knew that our generation had like we were going through like the pandemic stuff. So they like, most schools, like I know Harvard didn't ask for any test scores or anything like that.
Interesting.
Really?
Which is kind of crazy. Yeah,
That's
because
wild.
It's like
a lot of
great
kids-
time to get into Harvard.
yeah, because a lot of kids couldn't even like take the SAT just because of how it would fall, and then we were out of school again for a long time. And yeah, it was crazy. And then like prom got moved like 3 times. And like I was devastated because I wanted prom so
No,
bad.
that's junior prom though, right?
Well, that's like our prom. It's like we don't have a senior prom. We ended up
Wow.
having a senior prom because
Oh, interesting.
But it was a conjoined prom with the juniors, and then everyone got COVID, including me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This episode is going to be called something about like COVID at prom or something. Like there's a title in there.
Yeah. It was awful. Everyone got it. Like, because it was like double the size of any other prom. And everyone was having a great time. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, I don't feel good. And then no one else felt good. And then I ended up missing my last band concert. I was getting better just as like senior week came along and like graduation. Like I was very worried that I wasn't going to be good for graduation. It was pretty crazy. It was all within the last month of school.
So was senior year back to normal?
Yeah, pretty much. We had to wear masks at the beginning of the year, but then it got pretty normal. They would space us out at lunch, so like you couldn't sit next to people really. It was like every other chair. And yeah, I mean, there were a few things that were different, but it ended up being like okay.
Were you like stoked to go back? Or were you just like, it's been a year and a half, like, let me just stay home?
I was like, for a while, I really, really wanted to go back to school. And then I hit a point where I was like, I'm just so done. Like, I was just exhausted because I had to do so much. A lot of it was just teaching yourself during COVID. Like, there wasn't really any teaching happening. It was just, so I was just like, yeah, my whole class was just exhausted. It was a rough 4 years.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I just realized that we should have played a song like kind of a while ago. So anyway, that was really interesting to hear. And with that, here's a completely unrelated song, I'm sure. What's your first song going to be?
So my first song is Joanna, and it's not released yet. I'm recording it right now. So
awesome.
It will be out probably beginning of 2023. And it's actually part of like a story. So there's 3 songs, like a beginning, a middle, and an end, but they're all from different perspectives. And it's all about this girl, Joanna, who is in denial that the guy that she wants to marry is cheating on her. So I have like that's the middle song, and it's from like her friend's point of view, like telling her like, you have to leave this guy, he's cheating on you, how do you not see this? And yeah, so I'm working on that. It's probably going to end up being an EP. So this is my song, Joanna, and it's a made-up story about a girl who's in denial that the guy that she wants to marry is cheating on her.
Held your heart out to the boy in the band and held out for a good thing. Spent your summer driving down 16th with a dream and a hopeful ring. Oh, Joanna, you can't cry pretty when you're left with a shattered heart. Oh, Joanna, you can't act like you didn't know it from the start. Told you he didn't like to go party, but he came home smelling like booze. And there were so many nights I stayed up waiting, but he rarely ever came through. Oh, Joanna, you can't wear white if he's making you feel so blue. Oh, Joanna, you know he's lying to you. Girl, Joanna, don't let him take advantage of you. Have more self-respect and get yourself the hell out of it. Oh, he is blinding you, Joanna. He thinks that he has you. Don't go wasting your time, and don't keep telling him that it's fine. Tells her you're the only one he's loving, but his lips are stained her red. And you watch all of the money that he's spending, but it's not for you or him. Oh, Joanna, you better pack your bags and run real far away. Oh, Joanna, sound crazy, but a friend's gotta tell the truth. Oh, Joanna, I don't think he loves you.
And we're back.
Okay, so
Words are hard. I get it.
I was gonna be like, tell us more about that song, but I was like, well, you did a pretty good job in the introduction telling us about it. Okay. So some thoughts. Okay, so I feel like you have like a really unique voice, and I'm curious, did you take lessons, or are you classically trained? Is it something that were you just born that way? Did you are you self-taught with voice? But it almost, I don't know, have you ever heard of Sarah McLachlan?
Yes, I love her.
To me, you remind me of like Sarah McLachlan a little bit. I haven't listened to her in a long time, but just off the top of my head, what I think I remember her sounding like, it's like in a similar direction.
Is she the one who makes you cry about adopting dogs and kids?
She is.
Right. That's the one.
By this dog. Something like that.
By this dog.
I think those were the words.
That's correct. Exact quote.
Yeah. So anyway, did you go to voice school, or I guess you're kind of in voice school now? Yeah.
I mean, so I took lessons when I was in 8th grade for like a month, but I like figured out that voice lessons were very like trying to get you to sound a certain way. And it wasn't for pop music. Mm-hmm. It was more for like Italian arias and like stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not the kind of like thing that I need. And she was like trying to get me to sing differently, and like I just couldn't. So I stopped doing that. But I did.
That's what happens if you find a classical teacher.
Yeah. But in like high school, we did a lot of like classical stuff, and I did have to sing a few Italian arias. And I went to All-State, and so like I do enjoy singing like that, but it's, not like my thing.
It's not what you enjoy.
Yeah.
It's not what you love.
No.
So I'm guessing you kind of just like taught yourself after that, or you would just sing probably. And
yeah, I guess I've just been, I can't think of like a time where I was like, I'm going to sing. Like, I guess I've just always been singing.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't get that at all, because I can't sing at all, even a little bit. Like, not even a tad. I have a terrible singing voice, and not even a tad.
I haven't heard somebody say a tad in a minute.
Well, now you have. So I don't get, like, I have no natural music talent whatsoever, which is very different than most people we talk to here. And I always find it interesting how some people are just naturally, they have like a kind of a start, and obviously got to build on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's just crazy. I don't have a start or anything like that. But also, I'm not trying to do that right now, so it's fine. But did you find it was the same? Like, you had a natural talent for the instruments as well? Like, did you pick them up very quickly, or something that's a struggle?
Yeah, it was never like really hard. I feel like I just loved it, and I loved practicing, and so like I don't know. I just like was flying through all of my piano books and lessons, and like my first piano teacher, like we hit a point where he was like, I think that she needs to go somewhere else, because I've taught her all that I can teach her. So then I went to my piano teacher, who I ended up having for, I want to say like almost 10 years. And
that's like your whole life.
Yeah. She's like a grandmother to me.
It's a long time.
Is she like our age?
Hey, we're not old enough to get accused of being grandparents yet. We couldn't. Oh my God, we could be grandparents technically.
Could we really?
Well, think about it. If we had a kid at 18,
okay,
and they had a kid at 18, that would be next year, because we're both 35. So at 36, we could be grandparents. But like, my mom had me when she was 16. Like, we could be grandparents now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't care for that.
That's why people shouldn't be having babies at 18. That's as I like to say. I'm always saying that.
Not a good move.
Not a good move. Okay. One thing that intrigued me is you mentioned how the song is part of like a 3-part series and each song's from different perspectives. Like, how did you get that idea? Like, what intrigued you about telling like telling a story through multiple different songs?
So I wrote Joanna first, and like I was just wanting to write something because like all of my songs are about my life and like personal things, but I was like, maybe I should just try to like write literally whatever I want. Like I realized like I don't have to write about my life. I could write about a girl who wants to get married to this guy and she's getting cheated on, like things that I haven't experienced. So I wrote that song pretty quickly. And then I was like, well, I could make it into like a whole story and like, you know, have the characters and like have the guy and how she feels afterwards when she finds out. And I don't know, I guess it just kind of happened.
So you taken the whole EP or whatever it is, and the whole thing is one long story?
Yeah.
Throughout oh man.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Is it like in order? Like, can you listen from the beginning all the way through the end
it'll
and
be in
hear
order.
through the conclusion of the story?
Yeah.
That's dope. That's a cool concept. I'm into that. I like things that have kind of a concept.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm into like Coheed, right? Coheed and Cambria. Yeah. And like a lot of their stuff's written based off the comics that they wrote. But no, I love it when there's a little more to it than just songs put together.
Yeah, me too.
Now, on your Spotify, I read that you self-produce.
Yeah.
So at least some of your music, or tell me about that. Do you record it yourself, or like what does that look like?
So during the pandemic is when I actually got into it because I was given like all this recording stuff for my 16th birthday, like Scarlett, and I got like a MIDI and all this different stuff. And I like never really had time to work on it because I was in school. And then COVID happened and I had like all this free time and I was like, I guess I'll learn how to use it. And I was using GarageBand for a while. And then I started using Logic. And I mean, like everything that I do with that is like completely self-taught. And like now that I'm here and like actually learning how to use like Pro Tools and stuff, I'm like, oh my God, like there were so many things I was doing very wrong and like my songs could sound so much better. But yeah, I guess I figured it out and I watched a lot of YouTube videos and I had a lot of mental breakdowns because I was so frustrated. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I started as well, was like recording. Well, I was at Guitar Center and saw that they had Pro Tools, and I had a band in high school, and I knew that we used Pro Tools at the studio. That's what the guys used. And so anyway, like seeing Pro Tools at Guitar Center, I was like, whoa, I could buy that. I could have the studio thing. And so I bought it like on the spot.
For some exorbitant amount of money, I'm sure.
Probably.
Because that was back pre-subscriptions. You had to buy it outright,
you had to buy things.
Yeah.
And then I brought it home and I borrowed a microphone from my friend and started recording my own songs. And then like went on a journey of like, okay, well, why doesn't it sound good yet? Why doesn't it sound professional? And then like that's the question that I kept asking.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, you need a condenser microphone. And I'm like, cool. All right, I bought a condenser microphone. And I'm like, it still doesn't sound professional. Why not? Well, that's a bad one. And you have to EQ it. I'm like, okay, so I EQ it. And I'm like, it's still. And so anyway, you know, and then 15 years later, here I am. So
now you did end up at least, after a long time going and getting a degree in it as well. Maybe
exactly,
helped,
yeah. So I started off by myself, but then I took some classes at community college, and then I went to like a college program and got a degree in audio, and then I moved here. And anyway, so yeah, but the point was like, starting working on just my own songs was where I started, and then I just started recording other people. And realized like, well, that would be the way to make it a career. Yeah. And then I full circled, and in 2020 during COVID times, I started my own band and recording my own songs again. And I'm kind of still doing that now. That's so I totally get the COVID make your own music hustle.
Yeah.
Like it was a time where you're just like, oh, I finally feel like I have a little bit of time to work on my own creative project.
Yeah.
And it was a good time to learn new things and do stuff. I love that. I kind of think, COVID was so like the best of times and the worst of times for different people, and it depends how you reacted to it, and what happened to you, and like a lot of it was out of people's control. I think when I look back on my own life, I'm like, there's several things that I did or that happened where I feel like good things came out of it because it kind of gave me a moment to think differently about life and recalibrate a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, I met a girl, had a girl come to the studio earlier today, and she shared she had 2 different grandfathers die from COVID, like within a week of each other. And I'm like, well, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough I didn't really know anybody who died.
Laura.
Oh.
Kind of. It's nobody's 100%. I had an aunt who she was very sick and very old already.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing that she was still alive for like the last 10 years. Like, we're like, how are you holding on? And she died in February of 2020. And they didn't know what to. And it was like a couple months later when they talked to that same doctor that he was like, now we think it was COVID. That's what did her in. She had she had like cancer. It was already, like, she was already out. Like, we were already ready for it. So it wasn't like a big blow. But we found out later, like, oh, she was like real early. Like one of the first, because that was before it was even like, before school shut down.
The birds are early adopters, you know?
Yeah, we're early adopters. What can I say? You know, get on that shit early.
But anyway, so I don't know what the point of all that was, but you were talking about how you had kind of started working on your own music during that time.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who made like really good moves during COVID, but also whenever I say that, I always want to acknowledge, like, I also understand there's people out there and like it was like the worst thing that ever happened to them.
Yeah.
And all of us were pretty out of control. Like, there's just really no predicting whether it was going to be the worst thing for you or not.
Yeah, for me, it was great until I got COVID. It was phenomenal. I had the best Coronacation that I could ever have imagined. Like, I just stayed home. I took my dog to the park like every day. Like, that's all I did was just go to the park and hang out at home. It was awesome. And also, I wasn't alone because I'm married. That helped. I know some people were stuck alone, and that's a bummer. But but that helped a lot. But I loved it until I got COVID, and then that was the worst. But, you know, what can you do? But you had COVID too. And you as well, right? Wesley, have you had COVID? You have too? Has anybody not had it at this point?
I think everybody's had it.
My sister didn't have it. My dad didn't get it, even though both me and my mom have had it. So we were all in the same house, and I don't know, we did a pretty good job of avoiding each other.
Yeah. My wife has gotten it twice. She got it originally about a year ago, a year and a couple months. And that's when I got it as well. And it was 3 weeks before she was supposed to be in a play. And luckily she was still able to be in the play, and it worked out fine. A year later, she signs up for another play and got COVID 2 weeks before the opening night, which was like, I mean, a week ago or something. It's, you know, like we can't, like last week's episode we had to reschedule because my wife had COVID. But I stayed so far away from her. I've never been so good at staying away from a person in the same house. I didn't leave. I have like an office where I work because I work from home. And I like did not leave this room for like 2 weeks. I was like, because I still have like messed up taste from COVID a year ago. And I was like, there is no shot I am getting COVID again. I'm like, I don't know you. You lived away from me.
Did you sleep somewhere else?
Yes, we slept apart.
Where did you sleep?
Ironically, so, okay, this is going to make me sound like a bad guy.
Ooh.
Okay. I said I would sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
She chose to sleep on the couch because then she could sleep with our dog, because our dog does not sleep in the bed. So she made the decision to sleep on the couch. I offered, for the record. No, I slept in the bed. But she slept with the dog.
All right, cool. Well,
I did not get COVID.
Well done. Okay, well, departing from the land of COVID-19.
Do we get the COVID-19 banner now on our Spotify episode?
We probably earned it. Yeah,
guaranteed.
We did. We put in the work. So we were talking earlier about how you had come or off before the show about how you had heard about Belmont, but do you want to share that and like what are you trying to do at Belmont? What's your purpose? Why did you come all the way from New Hampshire to Tennessee, and like how are you experiencing it so far? Do you got culture shock? Are you liking it? There's like 10 questions there.
Well, I absolutely love it. I mean, it's so different from being up north. I definitely had some culture shock. Like everyone says y'all. I don't say y'all. And there are some odd foods, but for the most part, like it's good and I really like it.
Some odd foods?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, like why do people have gravy at breakfast? Like
Oh, like with biscuits?
Like biscuits and gravy?
Yeah.
Have you never had biscuits and gravy?
That's a weird breakfast food.
I mean, I didn't grow
biscuits and
up.
gravy is so good.
I didn't grow up with biscuits and gravy myself, but
Really?
like I never thought of it as odd.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You grew up with biscuits and gravy?
Yeah.
Well, your
I thought
family
everybody
is
did.
originally from Texas.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah, I came here and like we were staying in a hotel and they had like the continental breakfast and they had biscuits and gravy and I was like, why is there gravy? Like that's weird.
If you want something crazy, talk to someone from the UK, someone British about that, because both those words mean a different thing to them. Biscuits are crackers.
Yeah.
And gravy, they only have the brown, like classic gravy. So if you like, I had a buddy and we were talking about food, and I mentioned, we have biscuits and gravy. He was talking about crumpets, and I said we have biscuits and gravy, and he was like, "What? That sounds disgusting." Because he's thinking a cracker with brown gravy poured over it. I'm like, "You're right, that does sound disgusting." But I went and bought some crumpets, and you know what? They're just like English muffins. They're nothing. They're just a piece of bread. All right? Get over yourself with your crumpets. All right? English muffins, fine.
Yeah. We are the Anti-Crumpets podcast. So you what how did you hear about Belmont? Because you told me you were thinking originally about going to Berkeley.
Yeah.
Which is like more natural because it's a lot closer to you.
Yeah, and like I had always wanted to go to Berkeley. Like it was my dream school. And then, like, as we were getting closer and we were visiting, I was kind of like, they don't have a campus and everyone is really scary.
They don't have a campus?
No, because it's just, like, right in the middle of Boston. So, like, you're walking around and you don't even know that you're, like, around Berkeley because it's just Boston.
So is it like go into that building and there's classes
pretty
there?
much. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is why I like Belmont so much because we're right in the middle of the city, but we have, like, a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
And like
they spend a lot of money keeping that campus beautiful.
Yeah, it's so nice. But yeah, and the people there, I don't know, like the vibes were just off. Everyone was there for themselves and there wasn't any like collaboration or like wanting to work with people and make a band. And like, I feel like that's all that happens at Belmont. And people at Berkeley were just like, I'm the best and I'm always going to be the best. And like everyone tears everyone down and yeah. So I didn't really, I did audition and I didn't get in, but like, I don't know. I think it happened for a reason because.
It's all right. You don't got to tell people you didn't get in. You can just be like, I chose.
I mean, I'm glad I didn't get in because even if I did get in, it would have been like, okay, I would not have gone there either way.
Now that's kind of the reputation of the Northeast in general, though, right? It's kind of
hard.
Standoffish, kind of dicks. Like, I mean, you don't come across that way at all. But you've been in Nashville now, we fixed you.
Yeah.
But is that like kind of generally are people? Have you noticed people here are generally friendlier?
Yes.
Maybe a fake friendly.
Because when I came here the first time in February, like we were walking around on Broadway, me and my mom, and like we were confused about directions, so we just asked someone like where something was, and everyone is so nice. They were like, "Oh, how are you?" and like, "I hope you have a great night." I'm like, if we were in Boston, they would have been like, "No." So yeah, I think people here are a lot nicer, more polite.
This thing is like when you're in a cold place where the weather's always trying to kill you, you just don't have time to stop and be nice. Like you gotta thrive.
I don't know. No excuses. That being said, I feel like I would fit in well in the Northeast. I feel like I could handle it. I could be an asshole.
Now, how are you finding Belmont so far?
I love it. It's so nice. And like I love the size of it. I love the campus. I love the people and like the community. It's perfect. I love it.
For somebody who's like not, so your degree's in songwriting. So like for somebody, and I would say that's almost all of the whole wide world that has never done a songwriting degree and couldn't fathom that there's such a thing. Like what is a songwriting degree? What's it like? What's like the day in the life for you as a student? And like do you learn things? Like, what is it good?
Well,
I hope so.
Right now, because I'm a freshman in my first semester, I'm not taking any of like the songwriting classes right now. It's more like I'm minoring in music business, so I also have like a lot of music business classes. Mm-hmm. But like with all of that, so I have a music business class, and then I have an audio engineering class.
Cool.
And a recording on the DAW class. So like all of that, and it's all like just like the beginning stuff, like getting introduced to Pro Tools and just like learning about audio engineering in general. And
I'm surprised you're not just all gen eds. It's your first semester.
I know. Well, so I have a first year writing, which is just my English class, and I have a first year seminar, which is supposed to be women in music, but we don't talk about women in music. So,
but it's a seminar, so you just kind of hang out.
Yeah, I have to be there.
Yeah. I know Belmont also has this. I did not work in academics. I worked in financial aid. So if you were there last year, I would have been the one giving you money. But I know they also have like kind of a high like Bible requirement.
Yeah.
Dealio.
Yeah. So I don't know when I'm going to take my religion class.
Yeah, and you also have to like a bunch of like, I forget what they called them. You get like points.
Yes.
And you have to like a bunch of these every semester.
Yes. Well core.
Well, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I always thought that was just like, why are you making these people do things they don't want to do?
I know.
It's not
And,
class.
And there are some that are like really fun. Like there are music ones where you just literally go to like a jazz band concert and you get credit and like it's great. Or like I have one that I'm going to tomorrow that's like in like the Dolby Atmos theater and like they're gonna like show movies and like show us how it works and like that's all stuff that I would just go to even if it's
school credit for being on this podcast.
We should look into that. I bet you we could sign up and I bet you it would work. There's a lot of things. They let anything count.
Yeah. But then there are some other ones that it's like about like financial well-being and like there's some stuff that's like, you know, we have a few like religion credits. Like I have to go to church a certain amount of times.
That's so weird that a college can require that.
Yeah. But they also, like, there's some other things, like, that count as church that aren't, like, church. So, you know, Veggie Tales?
Yeah, I love Veggie Tales.
So, Larry the Cucumber comes and speaks at our school every year. So, I went and I saw him speak, and he did, like, the voice and everything. And I got credit for that.
That's a dope.
Wow.
They were like, that's church.
Yeah. You know how people, like...
Could this be church?
This is church. You know how people, like, write into celebrities and stuff? Mm-hmm. I did that one time in my life, ever. And it was to Larry the Cucumber. I was like 10 years old, and my little brother was like super into it. He was like, I don't know, 3 or something. And they mailed me a signed picture of Larry and Bob and the two people who'd voiced them, but I didn't care about those guys. They're like standing next to the guys dressed in the costume. Yeah. And I was like, that's the guys though. And they signed it. I was like, this is the coolest thing. Yeah. But now I love VeggieTales. I grew up on VeggieTales.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like,
is this still going? Are they still making more Tales?
I don't think so, but they are coming out with like a new series that's not vegetables.
With asparagus and carrots.
They had asparagus.
They did.
Yeah, the professor was asparagus.
Gotcha.
Forget his name.
I've never seen this.
But you know what was kind of bullcrap? Grapes, not a vegetable. Okay, there was a whole Grapes of Wrath episode. Also, tomato, not a vegetable. That's a fruit. Bob, the tomato's a lie. They had several fruits. I'm like, it's VeggieTales, not Fruit Tales. Oh, I just thought it was... never mind. But, no, I grew up on VeggieTales and I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a cool one. That is a cool one. But
I'm glad you're getting school credit for that.
Yeah.
And for this, maybe. We'll work it out with your
we'll work it out.
professors. Yeah.
That would actually be amazing, though.
We
could swing that. I mean, we can't. I'm sure. I mean, maybe we could, but it wouldn't do anything. It would be pointless. But now outside of music, because obviously, I mean, you've been doing music for like almost 10 years now. It seems like from when you started, which is quite a while. But you got to do other stuff. Like, do you have any other hobbies that are not music related?
Yes. So I do ski, obviously.
Nice.
From where you're from. That makes sense.
And like that's like my whole family skis, and every year we take like ski vacations, and I mean we've skied out west too, but like skiing in the Northeast is more just like ice skating because we get snow, but then it's not heavy and fluffy like it is out west. It's very like, I don't know, it's
like compact.
And then it gets like wet, and then it just gets skied off, and then it's just ice. So like I'm used to skiing on ice.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
It is. And then we skied in Utah, and it was like whole new world. Like we get a lot of snow, but it's not that kind of snow.
It's not like the good snow.
Yeah, we very rarely. Like I feel like once a year we get like fresh powder, and it's so nice. But most of the time it's just like weirdly heavy.
Interesting.
I've never been skiing. I went snowboarding once, and I was bad.
I've been snowboarding a bunch. We went last year with Wesley. Wesley switched to the Wesley camera. We went snowboarding in Gatlinburg. Have you been to Gatlinburg yet?
No.
It's cool.
It's fun. Yeah, it's close and it's close.
It's not close.
3 hours. So they
4.5 hours.
They have depends with the time zone change.
True.
So they have a little snowboarding place, and it's not very good. But it was still fun, but it's not good. And it had that stupid ice snow.
Yeah.
And then the sun came out and melted it, and at night it refroze, and it became like straight
And it gets so much
ice.
worse. Yeah.
And me and my friend Nathan wanted to do like one more run, and both of us got devastated. I tried to go down this one slope, and it was a steeper slope, but both of us had done it earlier in the day, but it was a whole different ball game as a ice ledge. And we like I started like going down it, and then I realized that it was going to kill me, and so I stopped before I could really go, but I was a little bit downhill, and I was like, I'm going to try to climb back up, but I couldn't climb back up. I couldn't get back up.
So just like hands
because
and knees trying to climb through the snow.
Through ice. Hands and knees on ice trying to climb back up. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to get up. So I was able to tell him, like, don't go this way. And he went around. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to ride down, like, on my butt. So I took it off the bindings, and I just, like, used it as a sled. And it mostly worked just fine, and I was okay. And then, like, a skier or snowboarder was, like, going by and completely just hit me and ran me over. And
like, full speed just.
Yeah, and I, like, destroyed my knee.
Oh.
And, my knee went straight into ice.
Did they fall?
Yeah. Yeah, I felt bad. They felt bad. Everybody felt bad.
Okay, you, like, talked to them? Wasn't a hit and run?
No, everybody was very hurt, and we're limping. And it was like always, and I guess the moral of the story, kids, is you don't ever do just like one more run. You never do one more. When you're just at the end of a good day and you're like, you know what, one more, it's always that one you get hurt on.
Well, you're not supposed to say one more run.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a
That's
superstition.
like, yeah, if you say one more run, then like you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're just supposed to like all just know like this is our last run, but we're not going to say anything.
Now, also, did you look like a huge nerd because you were sliding on your butt down a mountain and this guy was just flying like a pro?
Probably. Yeah.
I feel like I'd be more embarrassed about that than getting injured.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely would have done the same thing because I don't want to die.
And Erica was injured. Wesley's wife was injured, so she wasn't able to snowboard like the whole day.
Man.
And everybody was just totally anyway, don't go snowboarding at Gatlinburg. That's the moral of the story, I guess.
I do want to go skiing though. My wife, she wants to ski. She's not interested in snowboarding.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. Like, I mean, part of me is like, well, that feels like more of a guy's thing. But why? It's just there's no reason for that. Is it like X Games? Because we grew up with the X Games?
Every time I've ever gone, all the guys snowboarded and all the girls skied every time.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Is it mainly, like, is skiing the much more prevalent of the two?
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everyone that snowboards is just like everyone's young. If you snowboard, like it's all a lot of like teenagers, and then they all fly and then they scrape all the snow off because they go down just on the side, and then all the skiers get pissed.
Huh. I don't know. I really want to try skiing. Yeah. Snowboarding's great, but I don't have a good...
You can also snowboard and she skis, and you can go together still.
Well, yeah, but I think I want to try skiing. But I feel like you have those sticks. Like, I got to carry these sticks with you?
Well, but it's for balance. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested. I don't know. I really do want to try it, but it seems... I don't know if it's more or less dangerous than snowboarding. Danger...
Yeah, I don't know.
Generally doesn't, like, put me off of doing something... usually, but like I'm not trying to break a leg. I'm too old for that now.
Yeah, it might never grow back.
Yeah.
Now with that, I think it's probably a good time for us to play your next song. But what is your next song? Is this a part of the unfolding story, or is this completely separate?
It's not. It's completely separate, and it is released, and it's from my most recent album, Night Music. And it's a song that I wrote when I just gotten home from a party, and I just felt like I needed to like go to the piano and like, I guess like tell the piano what I was feeling before I told anyone else. This is a song called I Tried Too Hard.
I kissed you, but I guess I don't know why. And loneliness was overwhelming from the other guy, and I needed to feel something real, but maybe you didn't have it. Leaned in out of habit, and I tried too hard to make you the one. I kissed you, but I guess I don't know why. In your garage after the party late that night, and I needed to feel something real, but you stared too long, and I really should have looked away back. I tried too hard to make you the one. I don't wanna be here, I just want to go home. Leave me alone, I just want to wear my own coat. I just don't feel a thing, and darling, how am I supposed to fake it? Put on a face for so long. I don't think I could love you at all. I kissed you, but there wasn't ever a spark. On fireworks, supposed to light up if I like you that much. But it wasn't 4th of July, it was a pretty white lie, and I couldn't pull away again. You held me scooped in your armband, and I tried too hard to make you the one. I don't wanna be here, I just want to go home. Leave me alone, I just want to wear my own coat. I just don't feel a thing, and darling, how am I supposed to fake it? Put on a face for so long. I don't think I could love you at all. Tell me something that the other girls don't know. Make me feel special, just a one-night thing. I know you just always leave me hanging. Called it quits, but I'm the one you're blaming. Maybe it's a shame and a waste, but I don't wanna be here. I just want to go home. Leave me alone, I just want to wear my own coat. I just don't feel a thing, and darling, how am I supposed to fake it? Put
And we're back.
All right. So that was I Try Too Hard. And what? So how did you try too hard? What was that?
Well, I don't know. I guess it was kind of like I was trying too hard to like this guy that I didn't like because he was just a rebound after a bad relationship.
Classic rebound.
Yeah.
Classic story, yeah. That's how it be.
Yeah. So I noticed that you were recently a part of an award show called the Josie Awards.
Yes.
Okay, so I haven't heard of the Josie Awards, but I saw that it took place at the Opry, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So what are the Josie Awards? How did you hear about it? Did you send your stuff in? What happened?
So it's the largest independent music award show in the world. And it's run by it's a radio show. And then they do these awards. And this was my second time being nominated, but I didn't get to attend last year. And so I was nominated for Folk Artist of the Year and Folk Song of the Year for my song April. And it was so cool. I'd never been to the Opry.
Yeah.
And I got to be on the red carpet and everything. And
That's
there were
cool.
cameras in my face. And it was just so cool. I didn't win anything, but the experience was just really, really cool.
That's really cool that your first time going there was getting to be
Yeah.
a special person there, not just somebody sing a show.
It was really cool.
Did you guys get to go backstage at all?
No, I would have if I was a performer, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they seat you in the audience, and
Yeah.
do they is it an award show I would have watched on TV where they're
yeah. So
you know,
usually,
folk artist of the year?
yeah, usually it is on TV, but I don't know. I guess something with their contract, they couldn't have it on TV this year.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, so they had all the nominees sitting up close in the front, and then they'd have some performances, and then they'd go through and announce some awards, kind of just how all the music awards kind of go.
Yeah. So would you consider yourself a folk artist, or they considered you a folk artist, and you're like, all right, I'll roll with it?
I mean, I guess for a while I didn't really know what to call myself, but then everyone just started saying that I was a folk artist, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, all right, well, if I get to be
Cool.
folk artist of the year, I
Then,
guess
I'll
take
it's
it.
fine.
I'm not going to be no,
take it.
actually, I'm... No, yeah, you're going to pull that.
And what are some of your influences musically when you're writing and working on your songs? Do you have artists in mind that are people that you draw influence from or inspiration from?
Yeah. Well, so I love Taylor Swift.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
She's my idol. But I don't know. I guess I just get inspiration from everyone that I listen to. I love Fleetwood Mac. I love the Beach
Yeah.
Boys. I obviously love the Beatles. I love ELO.
I love all three of those last
Yeah.
things you said. Keep going. This is good.
I love John Mayer.
We're liking so much of the same music.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I listen to a little bit of everything. So I kind of just take stuff from all different
Yeah.
artists.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Taylor Swift, because I don't think we've ever really dove into Taylor Swift on the show.
I love Taylor Swift. Up to a certain point, and then I did not a big fan anymore.
Interesting. So here's what I've noticed. So I do a karaoke experience here at the studio, and people on Airbnb can book to come to the studio and do karaoke. And it's a tourist thing. And when I would say we have a fairly even split of people, but maybe it skews a little more female than not, people who would sign up to come to a karaoke event. But also I do bachelorette parties, and then it's obviously 100% girls, and it's a lot of them. And here's what I've noticed after doing a lot of karaoke: it's that almost every girl I've ever encountered likes Taylor Swift, or more likely loves Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I've had a few that didn't. But overall, women love Taylor Swift. And I don't think that there's a similar artist on the guy side that it's well, every guy loves John Mayer or anything like that.
John Mayer's a great guitar player.
I feel like Taylor Swift is a phenomenon, and I'm okay, so I have my own, I haven't thought that deeply about it, but I'm I think just maybe how she presents herself and how she does her career, like women are able to identify with her, and just like she is like everybody's spirit animal, and like we don't have that. So can you talk about that or explain like why is like, I get she does music.
Now take consideration you're speaking for all women.
Yes, absolutely. As a representative of all women and the youth. No, so we have like, we just don't have, Jerry and I don't have like a one artist that we're like, all the dudes love.
No,
we don't have that. So like, why does everybody, and obviously a lot of guys like Taylor Swift as well, like Taylor Swift reaches everybody, but like it just seems like she is like an icon.
She is.
For women everywhere.
Yeah.
And do you have thoughts on like why, or like what it is about Taylor Swift that like...
I mean, like, I am like one of those fans, I am like obsessed. I will do anything for Taylor Swift.
Are you going to her show in Nashville in 3 months?
Well, so I did get the pre-sale code. So tomorrow morning I'll be up bright and early and I will secure those tickets.
Mm-hmm. Now she listens to every episode. So if you want to, no, I'm just kidding.
She's a big fan.
But for a moment you were just like, yeah. But what is it? What is it that drives the obsession?
Well, so like, I mean, I've been listening to her my whole life. Like, my first CD was the Speak Now CD.
Oh, yeah.
And like, that's what I listened to on repeat when I was like, that was like my first, I don't know, like I'd never had like an artist that I really, really loved that was like, you know, my music. And I listened to that on repeat when I was really little. And so I feel like I've just like grown up with her. But like also, I mean, her songwriting is just very relatable and like very descriptive, but like it's very personal to her, but like we can all relate to it. And she's also just, I mean, she's a girl boss. Like she does great things for women in music, and like, I don't know, she's just like, she does everything. She's amazing.
Have you seen her live yet?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife is also obsessed. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I think we have a Taylor Swift poster on the wall still.
Yeah.
And I'm 35. Like that's where I'm at right now. But we went and saw her twice. Mm-hmm. It is exorbitantly expensive.
Yeah.
To go to a Taylor Swift show.
Yeah.
The first time our tickets were, I think they were $600 each.
I didn't pay that much.
And I was just like, I can't justify spending $1,200 to go see a show. But I did anyways because my wife's obsessed.
Yeah.
And then we saw her here, and that was like $300 a ticket. And I was like, and she sent me the link today. And I was like, look, I just spent all this money on this guy, which bought like tickets like the Nutcracker and all this stuff for Christmas. And I'm like, you're gonna have to wait it out. All right, I'm not trying to drop another like $500 or $600 on Taylor Swift tickets today. Are you kidding me? But to her, it's like a necessity.
Or you'll be the one on the couch.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like, I like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She's great. I like a lot of the songs, but I don't get the hype. I don't get the craze.
I don't know. She's like our god or something. Like going to her concerts is like going to church, and like
you get Belmont credit for it, actually.
Now I will say, I don't know, this is just a hypothesis off the top of my head. One thing I've noticed from producing people over the years is when I like, because I end up asking people a lot of questions about music, and especially artists I'm working with or others, just like trying to get to the bottom of what they like or whatever. And I've noticed that like, it's not a hard, fast rule, but overall, more guys that I talk to tend towards feeling like, or being like music first or like melody first. They're like more guys will tend to answer like, I listen to just like the melody of the music and the beat and the feel, and I'm not really paying attention to the words as much. And more girls will tend to answer that they like prefer lyrics, or like they'll hear the lyrics first and then the music next. And like Taylor's, and so my like off the cuff armchair theory here, oh, I got an armchair, is like Taylor Swift, everybody who talks about Taylor Swift talks about the songwriting and about her lyrics. And like, obviously she gets what it's like to be a girl because she is one. And she writes these songs, like you said, they're universal and specific. I've heard people talk about that before. Like, I always think of the example of her talking about her friend Abigail, who's 15, you know? Yeah. And like the point was made that like, you might not have a friend named Abigail, but like the whole story of her and Abigail.
High school relationships.
Yeah. I have no 15-year-old friends.
You sure said that like a guy who's trying to cover up that he has 15-year-old friends. And so, like, you may not have a friend Abigail, but they say like the universal is in the specific, and it's like I don't have a friend named Abigail, but it makes it feel very real to her.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it makes it real to you because for you, it's like Joanna.
Yeah.
Or whoever, right? And so anyway, it's just I don't know if that's like why we can't have our own Taylor Swift. You know?
You just really want your own Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I do. Like Tom Segura.
Tom Segura? It's a stand-up comedian.
I know. Tom Swift. Like, there's no Tom Swift because we don't care about the lyrics.
Guys do have one.
Who?
Joe Rogan. Every guy we talk to definitely watches Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan needs to start a music career so we can have our own Taylor Swift. Anyway, yeah, that was all a tangent because you mentioned Taylor Swift, and I'm just always amazed. I had girls here at the studio today saying Taylor Swift songs. Like, it is just, it is a religion. Taylor Swift is her own religion.
It is a religion.
How do you like her new album?
I love it. It's so good.
I haven't even listened to it yet.
It's me. It's I.
I've heard that.
I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah.
I don't know. I for me, there was like a weird shift. Like, when I first heard Taylor Swift, it was Love Story.
Yeah.
Right. And real kid music, like young. She was very young. Mm-hmm. And I'm only 3 years older than her, I think. But so I was also young. But it wasn't my jam because I was a dude, and it was called Love Story. It's not going to work out when I'm, however old I am at the time, 17 or something, 18. But then was Speak Now number 2?
3.
What was the second one?
Fearless. Yeah.
So that one came out, and I remember being like, this is a better jam. And I think during the Speak Now era is when I started dating my wife. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
What was that, 2012?
Or Red?
Yeah, it was like around then. I think Speak Now was 2010, Red was 2012.
But right around then was really the first time that I had paid attention to it outside of our band, like, covered a couple Taylor Swift songs. And then I was like, this is okay. But then Red came out. And Red, I was like, this is dope. I like where she's going. She's changing what she was. Mm-hmm. And now is this cool new thing. And I was super into it.
Did you like Trouble?
Yeah, Trouble's a dope song.
Yeah.
And then, what was the one after Red?
1989.
1989. That was the last one that I really liked.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at first, though. It took me a minute. What was the hit song off that? That was like
Shake It Off.
Shake It Off. Yeah. I hated that song.
I still don't like that song.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think it's good, but it sounds like it was written for the radio. Like, it was written to be a hit.
It was written to be
and
famous.
that's not like her. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder how that came about.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was like, I'm sure it was purposeful, but I wonder if it was purposeful on her part, or purposeful on her people's part.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, and that whole era, I love that. It was a little more rockin', a little more like just cool. Like, it was new. And then she kept evolving, as people do. And I have not liked the new evolutions. I don't like where I want more of the Red in the 1989. I don't get that anymore. Mm-hmm. And that kind of bums me out a little bit. Like, I haven't cared that much about the last couple albums because of that. But I have no point with this. I used to like Taylor Swift a lot, and I've been fading off recently. And it's kind of a bummer.
One thing that like guys had / just everybody had was Michael Jackson. It wasn't in our time, really, because we caught it at the tail. But like, I think about it, I'm like, one thing that's interesting about Taylor Swift is she was like a teen idol who like kept going and is still like, she hasn't really lost steam in all these years, and that's really unique because most of the people who are like big as teen, or like whatever, like drop off the map as they get older because they lose the teen appeal. But somehow Taylor Swift has kept going. And what's interesting is like, we know people who are like significantly older than you who are like just as passionate about Taylor Swift and were since they were young. And then like, but she's managed to keep these fans who are older and then also have fans like the new generation keep like joins on board. Mm-hmm. And maybe Michael Jackson's kind of like that because he was a kid star who like managed to be famous all the way until his death, basically. Yeah. And he had a lot of controversy at the end, but like he was the biggest thing in the world. It's just like we were like,
I remember
his
exactly where I was
really born
when
yet.
Michael Jackson died.
I remember when he died, and I was...
You were really young.
Oh my God. That's like core memory. Like, I remember like seeing it on the news and like my parents, like we were all sitting in the living room and it was just like, oh my God, like Michael Jackson died. And like I knew his music, like, you know, I was super young, but I remember hearing it at parties and in the car and all that. So I remember just being like, whoa, like, and they showed like everyone had the candles and I don't know.
It's crazy.
I must have been like
6.
Yeah.
I did the math.
Was it 2008? 9?
Off the top of my head, I think it's 2009 and you were born 2003, so I think you were 6.
Yeah.
I did the math.
Yep.
Now, for the rest of the show, we'd like to talk about the pre-9/11 world and what it was like and bring you up to speed.
Bring you up to speed. It was so much better. Oh, yeah. That is another thing. I remember exactly where I was when I learned about 9/11 and exactly where I was the moment I heard about Michael Jackson dying. It's like the only 2 things I could say that about, probably.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a cool 2000.
I was like, we're not really going to do that.
Yeah,
like,
no, I was like, it was a really good joke, though. Everybody loved it.
That remains to be seen.
We need to use that more often.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so outside of skiing, do you have any other local hobbies? You can't ski here.
No.
Is there anything else you're super into? Things that you actually love or are passionate about that are not music?
I mean, I do paint and I sketch a little bit.
Okay, so
other
artistic things.
Arts, yeah. But I don't know. I feel
Parents
like
still waiting for that phase to go away. She'll kick a ball one of these days.
Yeah, that's the joke, that I am like not athletic at all. And everyone in my family is very athletic. And I'm just not. I can't catch a ball. I can't throw a ball. I don't know.
You throw like a girl?
Your mom's like, you throw like a girl.
Why is her mom so mean? I don't.
She's a sports person.
We are not sports people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get it. We don't know
at
what's
all.
going on.
I do not understand the hype around
Me
sports
neither.
balls.
I don't get it. And I'm in the pep band. I go to all the basketball games. Like, I want them to win, but I don't know what's going on.
But like if they lose, like you probably don't care.
I'm kind of like, okay.
You're like, well, that was a game.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Sometimes that happens.
Now, what in the pep band do you play clarinet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've kept the clarinet going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't give it up.
No.
Oh wait, you're playing. Now you're playing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. At Belmont.
Yeah.
that's
I did
cool.
play in high school too, and I played in middle school.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, so you've continued the band as well. So you didn't drop the clarinet
No.
or pick up the saxophone.
No.
There's still time. Yeah. Have you done any jazz at all?
Yeah. I was in the jazz band in my high school. I played the piano. So I'm not.
But not the clarinet.
No, we didn't have clarinet in our jazz bands. I don't know
They had a
why.
saxophone though, right?
Yes, lots of saxophones.
Stop trying to bring her to the dark side.
I'm just saying, when you see a guy play the saxophone, you're like, that's dope. You know what I mean? Duke Silver? Come on.
Duke Silver. But clarinet in jazz is like super cool.
No, the clarinet is cool too.
Yeah, but our band instructor was, I don't know why, because she is a clarinetist. So like, she didn't have anything against clarinets. We just didn't have clarinets in our jazz band.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the tonality of the clarinet's like, it's something I've never recorded. I've never had a clarinetist in here. I've never put it into my music, but I'm like, I feel like I should. Like, it's a very different.
Well, now you know
sound.
someone who plays the
Cool.
clarinet.
There we go.
Need a session musician.
Professional Belmont student, Jackie. I don't even know how to say your last name anymore.
You're like, I just don't want to get it wrong again. I just.
How do you say it?
No, you got to guess. Go for it, Ryan.
Therrien.
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 Hold on. Now, outside of, you obviously are playing a lot at Belmont, but I think I saw, I just did like one scroll on Instagram. I don't really social media much, but it looked like you were also playing downtown.
Yeah.
Are you playing there a lot? Or is it just like one gig that you were doing, or what was the deal?
Well, so I played at the Tin Roof. That was like that's my one gig that I've done like on Broadway. But I've played a lot of rounds around here. I did play at the Bluebird.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was just an open mic, but like that was like my dream venue. Like I've always wanted to play the Bluebird. So.
Did you watch the show Nashville?
No.
Okay, because I know, like, obviously Bluebird's been famous for decades.
Yeah.
right?
Well,
But
Taylor Swift got discovered there. So I was like,
Really?
well, I need to go there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where
Oh,
she got
that's crazy.
signed. Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yep.
Trying to go to the Bluebird is a pain.
Yeah.
Tickets are sold out constantly.
They pack people in there, though.
Yeah.
It's tiny, but like there were so many people and everyone's dead silent. Like I had never experienced that
Yeah.
until I got here, like a listening room. I'm like, people are actually here to listen to me. Like,
right, you're not just background
yeah,
music.
I'm not just in a restaurant or at a festival, and like it was very cool.
So did that feel like a lot more pressure? Were you like more nervous?
I was definitely more nervous just because like it was my first time playing live in Nashville, and like I was at the
Oh, wow.
Bluebird, and so I was like kind
You're
of
like, I've made
out.
it. I beat Nashville. Like,
Yeah, it was within like my first 2 weeks of being here.
That's
and I
crazy.
just like happened to like I saw that they were, they do it, the spots fill up so fast. Like it opens at like 11 a.m. on a Monday and there's only like I want to say like 15 spots, and you have to like be on there and like type your name in really fast, and I just happened to get it.
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So have you played out much anywhere else outside of like downtown and there, like since you've been here? I know you've only been here, what, 4 months or something?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Not even that
3
long?
now.
You've done a lot in 4 months.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I've played live a lot. I played at the Well Coffee House. I'm playing at the Middle Tennessee Songwriters Festival this Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where else I've played. I played at Winter's Bar.
But not losers.
No.
Like, absolutely not.
I played at the Margaritaville Hotel.
You don't play losers until you've been here for like 10 years and you're like really depressed. You never made it. That's when you play losers.
Do they even do live shows at the Losers? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I assume they do. It's Nashville. Everywhere does live shows. Wesley, give me the thumbs up. He knows. Literally everything here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We also were talking earlier about the songwriting competition you were a part of, which has like a very impressive name. Like, what was it again? It was like
It's
worldwide greatest songs of all time competition.
Yeah. It's the World Songwriters competition, which I feel like it's not that big. Like
it's worldwide.
It's like maybe they accept submissions from all over the world, but they make it seem like it's like everyone is submitting music. And I mean, I don't know how many people submit every year, but
Probably the whole world.
the whole world.
6 billion people, 7 billion people. How much
Wesley, we need to know. I don't know if that's findable information, but
And so anyway, so you were like a top 10 finalist in that.
Yeah, for like folk Americana song. Yeah.
Which song was it?
April.
April.
as she has not played that one. We'll probably outro on that one, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember I saw some
all the
article.
awards.
Well, I saw some article that was written about you. You knew about it. Because there's like a quote from you in there, I think.
There were no
So I assume you knew
articles.
about it. But I think you had talked about that song specifically. I remember.
Yeah.
And then I remember looking at Spotify, and that was the most plays. I was like, oh, this is the one that we're playing on the outro for sure.
So how are you like playing all these shows and doing all this stuff in Nashville and being in all these competitions? Like, are you
And
spending
school full time.
Yeah, are you like just spending all your time working on this, or like do you have help, or like you doing it all by yourself, or how does that work?
I've just been doing it all by myself. I mean, I did it over the summer, like back at home too. I just reach out, I find an email and I reach out and I ask if they have a round or if they, need someone to play live for something. And like 90% of people don't ever get back to me, but the small 10% that does.
Yeah, I will say, so behind the scenes for people who don't know, is you reached out to us.
Yeah.
That is not something that normally happens. No one has ever we don't even post that email. I was like, how did you get this email address?
I went to the Instagram and I was like, oh, contact.
I didn't even know we had it posted anywhere. I got an email. I was like, what? I was like, all right, let's check it out,
Yeah.
But so
It
you're
is-
definitely being proactive.
Yeah, it's smart because like not that many people contact us to be on the show. We usually like reach out to people and book them. Mm-hmm. We've had a few other people reach out, but most people are like, it's like Instagram DMs and
Yeah.
which also can work too. But But yeah, like it's not like our email box is like flooded with requests.
No,
And
we
so,
never
like,
even, we don't use it for anything but signing up for accounts. Like,
Right. Left to our own devices, like there's so many artists in Nashville and so many people that we know and whatever else, like we're just going to, like I literally am just like constant, like I go through Instagram and just like, I'm like, oh yeah, this person, I'm like, they'd be great. And then I reach out to them and then we book them on the show. So anyway, by you taking the step to like reach out, like you put yourself kind of on the top of the list pretty easily.
yeah, because all I did, because once you reached out, I checked the email normally. I mean, we don't get anything there, but it's set up to my phone. And I just sent your Spotify link to them and was like, yes or no. Were they good? You like them? And they were like, yeah, we like the way she sounds, so yeah, have her on. So if you are someone else out there who sounds good, you're welcome to reach out at musicrowhideout@gmail.com, because apparently it's a thing you can do now. But also, if you're not good, I might not respond.
Don't email us.
I'll respond. But
If you're not good, just know that about yourself.
just
and
know
don't
you're not
email.
good. You know who you are.
We don't want to reject you. Please don't email us.
Yeah, I did have one guy, and I won't give his details because I don't want to embarrass him, and just in case. But he goes to Belmont, or did go to Belmont. I don't think he does anymore. But he heard about the show, and I was working at Belmont at the time, and he was a student, and he wanted to be on the show. And I said, you know, man, let me listen to your stuff. He only had one song on Spotify, and I listened to it, and immediately was like, absolutely not.
No, sir.
I didn't tell him that. I told him it was great. I said, that's great, man. Cool. Thanks for showing me. But that it was very bad. So if you're very bad, we will tell you no. You weren't. You were great. You sounded great, which is why you're here. But I don't know. Were you going somewhere with that before I completely derailed you?
I forget what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's how we do.
Yeah.
And I know we're coming up fairly close to our time, but before we do, there is a very important question that we do have to ask you.
A very important question. Were you like a little nervous?
Yeah,
Jury just now?
a little bit. Yeah,
nervous,
I am.
Like maybe?
Yeah, I have a little trauma in my life.
Kind of threw you off your rhythm.
Yeah. But
This is all like you would have had to listen to last week's episode to know
which
what
is not
we're
even out
talking
yet.
about at all. Yeah.
But
And you would have to have listened to the end of a normal episode
to understand the context clues.
To even understand last week.
because
So,
we do ask this question of every guest.
every single guest.
This is why specifically when you said earlier you listened to Parker's episode, we were like, did you listen to the whole thing? And which you're like, no, which is what everybody says because they're very long.
And it's good you didn't.
Yeah, because otherwise, ruin the whole question.
It would ruin the most important question we have.
True. So here's the thing. If you had to choose.
Listen very closely to this.
If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do. Okay, well, now hold on. The important thing about this question is the answer cannot come from here.
No, and podcast listeners, he's pointing to his head.
It must come from here.
The heart.
So if you had to choose.
But before you get too deep into this, I just want to, we talked about it earlier, but like what happened last week, just to address it, is
Yes.
Jury started asking this question and I denied him and I didn't go with the flow. And I tried to sabotage it a little bit.
Yeah, it really threw me off. I did not appreciate it.
It was so off-putting that Wesley wrote a note on the...
and said, stop,
on the
Ryan!
magazine, Stop, Ryan, and threw it up here. We talked about it later.
We've done this 60 times!
I haven't gone back and watched the episode yet, but I thought it was really funny in the moment. Maybe it wasn't.
It was not.
It really...
It was traumatizing.
It was very fun for me. So I just needed to explain that before we get too deep into the question.
That's
anyway,
fair.
if you
That's
wanted
fair.
to go
That's
ahead,
fair.
go
That's
ahead
fair.
and just ask the question. Just
If you
ask
had to
it.
choose.
And you do.
And you do. Now, what it means to come from the heart and not the head is that means I need an answer quick.
Basically instantaneously.
I don't want you to think about it.
If you think about it, it sort of ruins
I
it.
want the answer that comes from the depths of your soul.
The very pit of your being.
So, quick, no think.
Not at all.
If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do. What would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
I can't even think of any kinds of turtles.
Come on,
right
you gotta be
now.
quicker than that!
I guess a box turtle.
I just love stressing people out about it first. It's just my favorite thing. Box turtle. It's the only turtle you can think of, huh?
Yeah.
And now you've learned a little something about how you react under pressure. We've all had a great lesson here.
Now, do you actually have a box turtle experience?
I mean, like, we have them at home, but
Yeah, you grew up
Right
on a
now?
pond.
yeah.
So I was thinking you might have like a...
Yeah, we have box turtles, we have snapping turtles, and we have painted turtles.
Those
which,
are cool.
Yeah. I, like, rescued a baby one. He was, like, that big, and he was bleeding, so I took him in. This was
wow.
during COVID, and I, like, nursed this turtle back to health.
Did you really?
And I released it into the wild.
And you couldn't think of a kind of turtle.
No.
No, what did you...
Just nursed one back to health.
What did nursing... Was it a painted turtle you nursed back to health?
Yeah.
What does nursing a painted turtle back to health look like
Well, so I
for
I
the
got him.
inexperienced?
I got him like a little bowl, and I filled it with water, and then I put rocks so that he could like climb up and sit on there. And I put it in the window so he was always in sunlight and was like getting fresh air. And then I was like looking up like, what do they eat? Like, what do I feed this thing? And I was also emailing my biology teacher because I was like, do you know anything about
like, I don't
painted
fucking
turtles?
know. Like, Google
what do
it.
they eat? Apparently they like spinach, so he ate a lot of spinach.
They're very smart
Yeah.
turtles. They're super smart.
Yeah, he was so cute. He would take little naps. He was tiny.
Was there a spinach on VeggieTales?
I don't think so. No, they're really dropping the ball, adding fruits and no spinach. So, did you release him back into the wild, or you still have him?
I brought him back to the pond that I found him at. So
And he's still there to this day.
I hope so.
How
Did you
dangerous is the pond?
Did you name him?
I did name him, but I'm forgetting his name.
Wesley's pulled up the VeggieTales here.
Yeah, those are the. I mean, there's more than that.
That
There's
little
more.
green guy on the bottom. No, he couldn't be a spinach. He's a circle.
The green guy in the bottom right is asparagus, Ryan.
I'm talking bottom left.
Oh,
I
bottom
guess
left
that's
is a pea.
I don't know how you would draw spinach because
It's a leafy.
Yeah, it's too leafy.
Like,
It's too leafy to really
would they be one leaf or would it be a
animated.
bundle of spinach?
It would need to be a bundle at
Yeah,
least.
and that's a problem. Because then you have multiple personalities.
Little
Every leaf's a different
bundle
person.
with googly eyes. Jesus is your friend. That's the spinach character.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna write him into the show, buddy.
And it seems like they give all the characters like really like standard human names that would be like in a construction book for children.
Sure,
Right.
like Bob,
Yeah, or like
Fred,
John. Was there a John?
John
that's
the
something?
spinach.
John the spinach. Yeah.
What were we even talking about?
We were talking about the turtle.
Oh, the turtle. Yeah.
Did he? Was it a he?
Yeah.
Are you
Did-
sure?
I mean, actually, yes, because I looked it up. And my biology teacher
I know it can
told
be
me.
with a lot of reptiles.
She was
it can
like,
be
you
hard
have to
tell.
look for this, and then you'll know his gender. And his name was Sheldon.
Of course.
Okay.
Classic.
Yes.
Classic
I
turtle
knew-
name.
That was what I was going to ask if he had
Yeah.
a name.
Yeah, I mean, it's either Sheldon or one of the four ninjas. That's pretty much all the turtle
Yeah.
names that exist. Or Franklin.
Yeah.
Forgot about Franklin. That was a dope little turtle.
No.
I've learned, and really this podcast is just a social experiment to see who has stories about turtles. Every single person we talk to has a turtle story.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, obviously the question has nothing to do with anything outside of the fact that I like to ask it and I think it's hilarious. But it is crazy
now
that
there-
everyone we talk to has a turtle experience personally.
Now there is a Indian tradition, and I'm going to say, and by Indian I mean Native American Indian, and I'm going to say Hopi Indians. I could be wrong on this. Maybe it's Iroquois, one of the Native American tribes, has a mythology that the world exists on the back of a turtle.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
there's a lot of cultures that have
Yeah.
that.
And if everyone on the planet seems to have a turtle story, is that not evidence towards the Native
That
Americans'
is
belief
true.
of the
We have
world
like a
being on the back of
special
a turtle?
turtle kindredness.
Yeah. Just like obvious, like turtles are like the spirit animals communicating to everybody, kind of like a Taylor Swift sort of for humanity. Like the Taylor Swift of humanity is turtles.
It's turtles, all of humanity, Taylor Swift? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Turtles are the Taylor Swift of humanity.
Gotcha. Yeah. Is that the title of this episode now?
Yeah, I mean,
That's a pretty good candidate. I don't know.
I really liked COVID prom or whatever. I thought I'm really connected to that title.
Connected to it? Now, before we get out of here, though, where can all the people find you? I mean, not in person. Like, don't give out your address.
Yeah. Okay. Funny side story, real quick. So we had an artist recently. I don't think I shared this.
You told me this.
Did I share it on this?
No, you didn't share it on the show.
So we had an artist recently who thought it'd be really, really funny to make a joke and tell when we said where to find him, he was going to give out his address. But what he did was he pressed this button.
The whole time, yeah.
The bleep button. So he went, press this, and he told his address. But as people listening will hear, because I'm not going to go back and fix this.
You did in his.
When you press that button, in our ears, us in this room, all of a sudden you stopped hearing me. Like it cuts out our voices and only plays the beep. Mm-hmm. So he went and pressed the beep and told his full address, and then we all cracked up and laughed and ha ha ha. And he gave out personal information while pressing that button. So anyway, I edited the show, put it up, but it's a pretty long show, so I don't listen back to the entire thing. I just do the editing that I know I need to do. Put it up, and then I'll go back and listen to it after the episode's live. And I was listening to it the day it aired, and as I listened back, turns out that in Pro Tools, it doesn't actually cut the audio. It just plays the beep sound. And somehow the audio got shifted so the beep didn't even line up with his address anymore. And so listening to the show, he's all, my address is... And then he just tells his address, and for the whole world to hear, and everybody can hear his address.
Yeah, but you went back and cut that out, right?
So I immediately stopped what I was doing, and I cut it out, and I edited it, and I fixed it, and removed his address, and I informed him, and I was like, hey, do you need me to take this down? I'm going to replace it right now, and it was only up for 2 hours, and then
I'm sure it's fine.
So anyway, all of that's a cautionary tale, just to say...
Don't give out your address, even as a joke.
Don't give out your address or personal information, just like internet, how people find you as an artist. I'm sure you already knew that, but I wanted to share that story.
We just wanted to give you a very long explanation as to why that is the case, as we do with everything. I don't know if you've noticed.
For our listeners, I just thought it might be funny. That's all.
But anyways, yeah, where can the people find you?
Well, I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff.
All under your name?
Just Jackie Therrien. That's it. No dots, spaces, whatever.
And how do you spell Therrien?
Therrien.
It'll also be in the title of this episode.
True. Yeah. And we'll put a link.
And you can find my music on literally every platform. Spotify, Apple Music.
MySpace? LiveJournal? Zynga? So not every platform. How about that?
All of the active ones.
Yes. Yeah.
To be fair, you don't know what LiveJournal or Zynga is for sure, right?
No.
Those were social media pre-MySpace.
Oh.
So
yeah, I know MySpace.
Mid-90s.
Yeah.
Did you ever have LiveJournal?
I did not. I knew of its existence, but I didn't have it.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I wonder if mine's still up. But anyways, do you have any show? I know you have a show coming up this Friday, right?
Yes,
You're playing.
Yeah.
The episode will not be live by then, unfortunately.
Yeah. If you're
but do you have
listening
anything
to this
else?
Episode, don't go to that show because you
missed it.
You missed it. But go to her Instagram and look for the next show.
Yeah. Do you have anything coming up a little further out that you could tell people about? Or probably don't have anything booked yet, I would guess, but maybe.
Well, on the 29th, I'm playing Cabana Taps. So
nice.
Yep. Well, it's around.
Awesome, like a songwriter round. Okay, Great. Yeah, and it seems like you're really active with those. So if you pay attention to Jackie's Instagram, you'll see different rounds that she's playing at. Mm-hmm. Go check those out. Those are really cool. If people don't know what writers' rounds are, you'll get several writers and they'll all go on the stage at the same time. They'll play one song, then the next person plays a song, next person plays a song. They'll loop back around, and a lot of times it'll be two. Sometimes it might be more. They'll share a little bit about the song. It's a very unique Nashville thing.
Yeah.
It's very behind the scenes, kind of hearing writers explain their work. So it's a great way to check out an artist. The venues are usually small and intimate, and come hear Jackie play some of her songs and hear a little bit of the story behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes in those you'll run into people who are fairly famous.
Yeah.
Too. Like if that's what you're into, trying to find famous people in Nashville, which I know a lot of people are. That's a way to do it. In fact, when we went to the Bluebird, when I visited, when you lived here and I was still in San Diego in 2012, I saw Amanda Shires play, and I didn't know who that was. I just thought it was some rando musician, and I was like, God, this girl's so good. And I bought her CD, which was probably the last CD I've ever bought in my life. and then when I moved here, I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and she was in it. And I was like, oh my God, that's that girl I thought was so good. I was like this up and comer, she's in the Country Music Hall of Fame. I was really blown away. But anyways, guys, unless you have anything else to say, I was going to outro us.
No.
No, we are going to play April, right?
Yep.
On the way out. So hear that. This is your most listened to song currently. Is this the song that actually what got you to the top 10 in that competition?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So make sure to check it out and check out Jackie on all the things, her Instagrams, her social medias, your Spotifys. But anyways, guys, as always, thanks for coming to hang out. You guys are awesome, and we'll see y'all next time.
I paint a picture and I think of you. I paint your records, one hangs in your room. And it's crazy how it's different being there now. Used to feel out of place, I fit right in your arms now. You pick me up on Friday nights, roll down the window so my hair doesn't sit right. And it's wild how fast time has gone by. Feels like April was yesterday in my mind. The red stoplights lose their glow when you take the short way home, and the orange skies up north could only harm me for so long. The yellow that was freshman year, and the green grass that are old schools, and even the blue that I only feel when you're not here. But I can never get over the shades of you. And no, I never want to. I only want you, every shade of you. I've never met a single person like you, so comfortable within silence you'd steal. The way your voice cuts through me like a knife. Feels like April was yesterday in my mind. The red stoplights lose their glow when you take the short way home, and the orange skies up north could only harm me for so long. The yellow that was freshman year, and the green grass that are old schools, and even the blue that I only feel when you're not here. But I can never get over the shades of you. You know I never want to. I only want you, every shade of you. The red is sinking in my cheeks anytime that you touch me, in the yellow of the birds where we met. Your backyard where you kissed me first, the three little words that came in a blurb, and the blue I only feel when you're not here. In a world full of plastic, they're a trend but we're a classic. And as they all go in and out of style, I'll wear you again. You know know I'll always want to. I only want you, every shade of you.